Welcome to the Narrowboat that James built. I hope you're well. Thanks for joining me. I'm still a little bit bunged up, so you'll have to bear with me. Marlon was standing on that middle step yesterday, and I was chatting to him, and he couldn't sense it, but I could see the thing flexing. It looked like it was going to snap. It's only made of MDF, so I've really got to sort out these steps. I'm going to do that now because that'll help me kind of shape the galley. Okay, battery storage is going to be underneath these steps, most likely on kind of towards starboard side, but I need to redo the whole kind of step configuration. It's going to be like this, but this is all very much temporary, and that step there, which is made of MDF, has all started to break apart, and it's only a matter of time before someone falls through that. So I'm going to redo it, and I'm going to make the frame from that stuff, and I'm going to make the treads, I think they're called, from that stuff. Right, I'll remind you on paper, that's what the step configuration looks like. So a bit of a bend on all of them, curved, and now I know how to kind of curve the riser up part of the steps using kerf bending. I can kind of make it all look pretty okay-ish. That's the plan anyway. I'm now trying to work out if I can get the 3 steps out of, because I want all the grain going in the same direction, and I'm going to want it coming this way. I think that'll look quite striking because it will follow the grain on the tech deck board that my mind has already bought for the outside. So I want it all going that way. So I've got that piece, and I've also got this piece here, which is wide enough just and long enough just to fit it all in. So I'm going to kind of, I think, do this one, but I'm not really sure how to do it. But that's the one which is causing me a bit of a headache, because it's nothing like what this step is. It's going to kind of go around here in like a curve back to there. That one's going to be a less acute curve than that. It's kind of just going to go up like that. So it looks a little bit more like the picture. Right, the first piece, which is going to be the upright post from there all the way to the ceiling, is a critical piece, because it's going to be the framing for all of this, but also for the electrics cupboard. And I've got to get it right. It's got to allow for some trim. The trim I'm going to go for is going to be, well, not trim, kind of the sidings of it are going to be 9mm birch ply, just because it's a little bit cheaper than the 18mm. So basically, I'm going to be using this line here, because I know that's a straight line on that oak ply there. So then I can bring it out to the same line from here, bring it straight down, and that will be my line. I'll obviously square it off against the floor, but as long as it's true against that, then should be all right. I'm going to cut a notch out of this piece here, again using Marlon's circular saw, so I can slot in the horizontal bit. Right, this is what I've got to. I've put a back piece in there. I've got my upright in. That's all square. It's square up there. It's exactly the same distance from the bulkhead to the outside of that, all the way down. I've got a notch cut out here. This is all square. That's not fixed in, and nor is this one here, because I've now got to make a groove going across here to take some of like the middle weight part of the step and to help secure the step in. But the step will be secured in on that batten and that one there. Right, this is where I've got to so far, and everything is square. I'm happy to report. I've just kind of put some stoppers on the ground for basically where the feet need to be. I'll sort that out afterwards, but they can't move. Now I'm going to screw this all in place and start looking at the top. Okay, after a few minor adjustments, I think I've got that all bang on. It's all 90 degrees, all the angles are good. It's all pretty secure. So I can now make the first step bit. That'll obviously be mounted to that. And then I can work out where the second step's gonna go. Right, now's the time to reroute my Vetus cables. So I've got these two here, which plug into the thingamajig. So I've got to kind of put them back into the engine bay, bring them down to port side and ideally through some of these holes here, which were for the redundant, or the now redundant, diesel heater. I'm going to require these two holes still for the calorifier. So I'll keep them, but those two, or hopefully one of those, I can feed them cables through. Oh, blimey. So I've rerouted the cables. It's never easy, is it? And the hole there is way too small for the massive plugs I've got to get through it. Luckily, I've got enough flex on the cable, so that'll be fine. I can get it to reach, but I've now got to sort out that hole. And whilst I'm at it, I might as well get rid of that thing. Okay, I'm back in the engine bay, and I've opted to use the jigsaw to enlarge this hole so then I can put the cables through here. Okay, with the hole I've made a bit rough and ready, I'm going in on the edge with some electrical conduit and kind of just keeps it in place quite nicely. A little trick I've seen on the other side. Okay, the Vetus cables are now through and the hole's nicely protected. That's obviously all going to be hidden by the electrics cupboard. And now I've got to draw my attention to the second step. Basically, it's going to be, that's the right height, so all the steps are the right kind of distance, kind of height apart. But the swim here, I've noticed this from ages, it's kind of flicking up at that corner. I've tried pushing it down, it doesn't look like it's caught on the timber, so I'm going to take that up and have a look at it. But basically the step is going to be at that level, the batten's going to be at that level, so the step's actually going to be kind of 40 mil high. So I'm not really sure, depends how much width of timber I can get onto that. Maybe I'll have the step resting on there, or going over there, then I'll have to do something with this swim, design-wise, afterwards. But I just need to make the step kind of as accessible and as secure as possible. But first off, I'm going to investigate this. Right, I can see what the offending article is here. There's basically a little support there, which looks like a bit of Pt.1 on top of something else. And basically, it's just sitting too proud, so I can get rid of that. Right, I've got some supports here. I'm just going to spray foam these in place. Cool. Right, I'll just let that go off for a while. Now I can make that support, which is in the right position, one of them, cut a notch out, attach it to this, and then put one across there. This is an exercise of trial and error. I'm going to have to move this post over. I really wanted that to be 450 wide, but I'm going to have to move it over just because the step basically needs to be like this. So got to redo that join there, move that over a bit, and then I can come back to the second step. Right, I've repositioned it now. I've just got to secure it all in place. Okay, that's what it's going to have to be like. It's got a gap of 400 now, so I can get in a slimline something or other, or a cabinet. But it's going to have, I'm thinking now actually, it's going to have a piece coming from here in terms of finish, bending around there, and then bending around there to there, another cupboard in the middle. That's kind of what I've got in my mind's eye. Whether I can create that or not is a different story. Right, I'm finally getting around to making some bits for the second step. So that's one of the bits to come across. I've got to cut out a notch there and a bigger notch on that side. But look at this bit here I've just taken off. Isn't that nice? Look at that love heart. See, at that angle it doesn't really show, but that's well nice. Right, as I'm making the second step here, I'm paying way too, well, I'm kind of letting this stuff dictate the whole thing to me, and I've kind of decided to ignore anything to do with that. If I've got enough of it and it's all going the right way, great. If not, then I'll have to kind of put some veneer on it or whatever, or make my peace with the fact that it will be different. The important thing is to get the proportions and everything right of the step and to make sure it all works properly. Right, here is the second step arrangement. Everything is square and true. I've got a batten along there just so it rests on there. You'll see it's not quite levelling up with the swim, which is annoying, but I can just take a little bit off the underside of the step, so that'll be all right, and get it to kind of go over a bit more. I haven't got a cross member in there. I might have to put one in, but once that's secured to the floor, well, I'll see. Next, I can start looking at the bottom step. I'm just working out these step positions finally. I don't mean finally, I'm just getting around to it now. I mean the final time of doing it. So top of it is 40 inches, top step there 30, top of the second step 20, top of the lower step 10. So that kind of works all right. Right, now I've got to do a support going across the bottom there for the lowest step, and there's going to be, I've cut out a notch there, so there'll be a horizontal going there which will keep this rigid and nicely in place, and then they'll all meet up with that bit going across there. So I'm going to cut that now. It's got a bit of a curve to it, which I'm probably just going to go for a straight bit, but luckily for me I've bought some timber from B&Q, so it does have a nice little bend in it. So I'm really looking for this bit around here. Right, I've got that lower step support. It's not in place, but it's kind of in the right spot. I now need to make a cross piece going from in that notch there to a notch I'm going to cut out of that one now. Okay, that's it. That is the framing complete. I'll kind of talk you through it. The bottom step obviously rests on there. I've got to get rid of a bit of that because the second step obviously rests on there, and that's where the top step goes. I'm going to have to make a couple of amendments to this bit here because pipes have got to come through the back of there. There are 4 pipes, so two sets of 15 mil pipes. So there are going to be a kind of floor level around there. So I've got to excavate a little bit of that. I could bring it forwards a bit, but I'm not going to. So I've done that kind of joint there. It's all kind of gone all right though, to be honest. Now I need to turn my attention to the top bits, but I'm not going to do that because I'm I've got other things to sort out before I do that. But most importantly is there's a big area here for the batteries to go. And even though there's going to be a step on there, which will be able to remove, not too hard, this step here won't really be able to remove. That'll be fixed in place. So the way I will access the batteries will be through this cupboard here, where the terminals will be here, and like kind of isolation switches and things like that will all be accessible around here. Right, this one here hasn't been put in, it's not secured in place yet, it's got a bit of a wobble still to it, but I really just want to kind of show you that it's strong enough to take my weight. Obviously it's going to have a step on it, and the step's going to be supported on this bit as well, so yeah, it should be alright. This whole thing has been a real kind of pain to make, because I've had to measure things like just 1,000 times, make sure obviously getting all the angles and the right angles and everything, but because there's no, well, the plan I've got to go off is like a 2 square foot block here, 2 square foot block there. So like when you get into it, right, where does this bit go or where does that bit go? It's kind of, or this, it's kind of, that's when all the measurements kind of start to take shape. And I've had to kind of think of the finish first and kind of work backwards. So where will the trim be? Where will be the kind of timber cladding or the sidings of what the cabinet is, and then it will match up with there. So how far does that have to come out? On Slow Patrol I didn't do any of that, so as a result of which, when I started putting things, when I started mounting timber to this, I was all of a sudden like losing space. So it's just taking an absolute age, but it had to get right, had to be quite sturdy and strong, which it will be when it's all kind of secured in. I don't know what I'm going to do about the feet yet, but I'll work that out later on. And then got to kind of make the step bits. I'm going to hopefully make it all out of this, and see what it looks like basically, but I'm not going to kill myself if I can't get it to work. I'll choose something else, but it would be nice to use it out of this because it's pretty sturdy stuff. I've got quite a bit of it, be good use of it, and I think I can make it look quite nice if I routed the edges or whatever and made it kind of fit quite nicely. As I said, batteries are going to be down there, so I'll access them through there. That bit there will just have kind of like isolation switch and other bits and pieces, which will be quite easy to access. This will be some kind of cupboard, electrics cupboard and stuff like that. And then I've got to work out something to do in that kind of corner or whatever. And coming up in part 2 of this exciting Companionway series of videos, I go about cutting up my kitchen worktop using some cardboard aided design to try to make my Companionway steps. See you then, thanks for watching, bye.